we go back to Adrian. Adrian says, we care too much about everything and we are scared of doing different things because we are afraid of the unknown. Why, Mehran? What's the antidote for fear? Well, you know, I have a seminar video on the seminar I did at the local university a couple of years ago. It's called The End of Fear. Watch that, please. That's about 45-50 minutes. Watch that. It's free on YouTube. And that will answer your question about the antidote to fear. You know, you don't have fear unless you create it by your thoughts. And if you go on my video on my channel, look for fear. What is fear? How it is born, then you'll get some other answers there. So, is there a first portion of your question here, Adrian? Because that looks like to be a second part of it. No? This is the first part. It's the only part. We care too much about everything. Why? We should figure out why we care too much about everything. Maybe some things we should, but some things we shouldn't. And we are scared on doing different things. Are we scared of doing different things? What things are they? It's very general. Or are we scared of the outcome before the outcome is even present in the now? Or we conjure up an outcome due to fear, which is sometime in the future a possibility which hasn't happened yet. But because we create it in our minds, then we feel afraid even though the thing hasn't happened yet. Because what you feel is because of what you think. And whether that thing really happened or not, at the time that you're thinking, the mind doesn't tell the difference. Your thinking brings an emotion. And if you're thinking about something harmful or fearful or some danger, whatever it may be, that emotion that is created by that thinking will represent your brain to think that that thing is really happening. To your brain, it doesn't make any difference if it's happening and then you feel the effects of it in your mind, in your mood, or is it your thinking that has created that emotion? Both are the same for your mind. That's why you get depressed from thinking, but nothing has happened. Why are you depressed? Because you constantly think about things that are negative, and that negative way of thinking is reinforced in your brain. Synaptic neurons create bridges, more and more of them, because you keep thinking about those negative thinkings, and therefore they become your conditioning, your wiring. And you hardwire your program. And in turn, your whole persona becomes negative. Your whole way of thinking becomes negative. And all the time you're negative and you're depressed because you're constantly reminiscing it. Break the cycle, but start thinking about your visions. A vision of wonderfulness, vision of success, vision of your future. And then have your body follow your vision, because your vision has created the thoughts that doesn't come from the past. It doesn't come from whatever you've perceived in your memory already. You have reserved, you have recorded in your memory, and it is something that your memory has nothing to do with it, because it has to do with your imagination. And your imagination is not necessarily, is more free to be a new imagination, not necessarily based on your past. If you can create visions of what you want to be, then your thoughts will be based on what you want to be, not what it has been, which is always the past, and always negative. The experiences, the fears. And if you create that movement in you, then you will start stepping outside of your past, which encourages you to think about the fears, the traumas, the things that has happened in the past. And you start programming yourself into thinking about good things, success, believing the energy that you have, believing that you can do things, not the fact that I couldn't do things and I failed in something and something went wrong in the past, and you keep thinking about that. That encourages you to remain in that depression mood. But if you can come up with a way of following your imagination, good stuff that you can think about, and have your thoughts function on that note, and be conditioned to keep thinking about success, and I can do it and I can change it, and I don't want to reminisce on the past. Look, when something happens, there's so much hormones and toxins and so on is created if it's negative and harmful to you, some experience. But usually all those chemicals are washed away within a few minutes. But if you keep thinking about it, you're keeping it alive. These thinking about the stuff that went on and was not good is the problem, not the fact that something happened that was the problem. That happened, died, finished, is in the past. It's not now. But when some trauma happens and affects you, it can diminish its importance and its effect on you, but it's the thought, the thinking of it that keeps it alive, because the mind doesn't understand the difference between the actual happening or the thinking of the actual happening something in the past. And when you keep thinking about the traumas and the things that bothered you in the past, you're keeping that experience alive, which brings the same goddamn emotions that to begin with kept you down and depressed. You got to break that system out, that cycle out, and start focusing on the energy and what you have and the possibilities and the universe and the nature and your connection with the tremendous power, the mother of all powers, the energy of the universe that runs through the universe from one end to the other and passes through you. That energy should be what you hang on to and move yourself away from what you're thinking and the past and all the traumas and so on. Believe in that current will be able to take you and save you and get you out. On that basis, a new hope is created, and you start thinking about things that you can do, possibilities, and then you make that your habit, which then you will be away from all that depression that we all go through once in a while. All right, let's see.